All right. Thanks for doing this, man. We're doing what failed podcasts don't do, which is it.
We just get it in.
We're doing it. Yeah.
So yeah, man, you're busy right now. Yeah, getting ready to go on tour starting tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's weird how I didn't get anything done, even though I've been constantly trying to get stuff done the last 3 days. It's really strange.
What kind of stuff you got to get done?
Well, I changed my drum head, so I had to tune them, which meant I had to set up. But I didn't even go to the studio I paid for because I was too busy. I was like, fuck it.
Jesus.
So I set up in front and aggravated my neighbors, hitting them, tuning them. I got to get my mics ready. Just make sure I had to go get a snare stand. I had to grind up a coffee and get that ready because I'm eating camp. We're going to camp and shit. So got to get camping shit ready.
Oh, y'all are camping? That's a unique way to do it.
Yeah. We camped on the last tour. It's going to be fun. We'll camp. So I was just thinking, getting all that shit together and whatever.
Yeah, man.
Working, fucking practicing a lot. And dude, so real quick, I know we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, you're good.
But
you're good, bro.
There's been a new development in the story of my clients, remember?
Oh yeah, with the dog like hey, we're gonna basically pay for you to have your own business.
Yeah, so if you've been listening to this show, you might have heard the story a while back this winter where these people I walk dogs for called me one day and said, we'll fund your dog hotel and training facility. I was speechless. I asked her, what do I need to do? Let me know, because we had a meeting. I was like, let me know what I need to do. She said, don't worry about anything. I was like, all right. And so I didn't. You know what I mean? And the months passed, and I found out from the housekeeper they're moving to Miami. So another couple months passed, and they never told me nothing.
Oh,
so
damn.
I brought it up. I was like, hey, what's the deal with the business thing? I didn't say it like that, but I'm just moving the story along. She said, well, we're moving to Miami. I said, oh, okay, great. I acted surprised, but I wasn't. And she said, and you didn't seem interested. So that's why we're no longer going to be actively involved. And I was shocked, like, wow, how did I not seem interested? And it still bugs me. Like, it still really bugs me. Like, how does an opportunity like that fall into someone's lap? I mean, I didn't, basically. And fucking, you're so dumb. You fucked that up. I fucked that up. Like, that's how dumb I am.
I wonder if it was, so just reflecting on at least you telling me about the experience, if I remember correctly, you just kept asking like, but I also need a place to be able to play my drums.
That's not how I worded it.
I know. I'm just fucking around.
I told him
I'm trying to make it funny.
Yeah, but basically that's what I felt like I did, because it was like, you're talking about running this business, and I'm like, I'm balls deep over here already. So that's why I haven't ran a business. I'm trying. This isn't making money, but like, you know what I'm saying?
I wonder if but in all seriousness, I wonder if that had anything to do with them thinking that you weren't interested. That you had higher priorities.
Yeah, I have a conspiracy to start this episode. You want to hear the new development of the story? So I'm just catching up with where everything's been. So that's where I've been the last couple months. I've been in this headspace of like, fuck, dude, I'm a fucking idiot. Just counting down the days till they leave. And they're my best clients. So like, there goes a bunch of money, but they got me more clients. Shit. They got me more clients while they were here. So in a way, they still did launch my business because they spread some word. Yeah. And I have 3 dogs every day another dog that I just got turns out to be a former famous NBA player. And I met him. He's like 7 foot tall. I was like, what's up, man?
Whoa. What NBA player? I guess you can't say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Got you.
But
that's cool.
I mean, not famous, but he was in the NBA for a while. And I
wouldn't know who it was if you told me.
That meaning he played for the Nuggets. He played for the Orlando Magic and stuff.
Cool.
So fucking it's the NBA player. So, but I don't want to drop names. So fucking so my clients moved, dude. So my clients moved the last week and a half. I've been moving into this new phase, trying to find the positive in the most epic fuck up you could ever fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm like making business cards and I got like t-shirts coming. So I'm gonna just fucking, because I can't solicit in the neighborhood. So I got to find a way to solicit without soliciting. So I need shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the new homeowners move in and they have 3 dogs where one door closes and the other one opens.
Shit. And are you walking their dogs?
No, but I'm talking to people because they all got dogs and they're all barking and I know how to fix this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they need walks and I got good prices. They got money a couple times a week. Everybody lets me walk. I'm good. You're good.
Yeah. What if they like walking their own dogs?
Some of them do, but some of them don't have time. Some of them don't want to. Text me. Hey, you going to be here today? Gotcha. Yeah. What time? 1. Boom. I go pick up Julie and Lily and I got like 7 dogs instead of 5, you know? But anyway, I'm talking to this guy today. I've talked to him a couple times, but we're talking today. He's got his dog out there. Homeowner? Yeah. And he brings up the former homeowner. I'm not going to say the guy's name, but these are my favorite clients. You know, we're like, yeah, it's good. They're good people. So to me, it's like, I love them. I miss them. I miss their dogs, you know? So he's like, for the conversation, I'm going to say Jake. The guy's name is Jake. Okay.
Former homeowner?
Yeah, the former homeowner. The new homeowner says, yeah, how about that Jake guy? Rough cat, huh? He looks like a movie director. He's got small glasses that are transitions.
Oh, no.
Polo tucked into cargo. Looks like a lax professional retired guy. He's like, how about that Jake guy? He's a rough cat. And I said, yeah, he's quiet, huh? Because he is. He doesn't say much. He's intimidating because he's quiet, but he's cool. Just doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
He like 5 words and then he's done. And if you talk too much, he starts tuning out. Like there's patterns with these rich people I notice, and they have a line where they withdraw, and it's professional. It's like I got to be quick, like, all right, see ya, and then I'm out. Like talking too much, bye. But they all have this quality. It's really interesting to like connect these threads. So the guy says, oh, he's a bad actor. I looked him up on Google. Yeah, he's a bad actor. I was like, I didn't even think about looking these people up on Google. So on the drive home, I look them up on Google and I find out that they settled. He settled a lawsuit with the SEC in 2019 for $1.8 million for unlawful stock trades, pump and dump, 3 companies' stocks. It was 10 people orchestrated under head investor dude Gary Honig. And they all made 27 million total. I don't know how it divvied up between the people. So that was in 20. So when I met them and I started walking their dog, when they like came into town from being out for 2 months, was when they settled the lawsuit. So now I'm realizing maybe they didn't move just to go there, right? Because their information, I find, it all says that they live in Miami Beach. And I'm thinking,
shit.
Nah, they ain't been there. And that's where they moved real quick.
That's nuts.
So I'm thinking they settled, shit came to an end. We got to tighten up. I don't know, man, but I got these gears turning and I'm like, this is crazy. And maybe he didn't know it was like a 10-person dump and pump scheme. Maybe it was like, hey, these are new corporations. You want to invest? Yeah. And he got caught up. I don't know, but
that's pretty wild.
And then my dad,
it was good you didn't get tangled up with that dude.
Yeah. And then my dad, but his like profile showed that he was like on the board of like this pizza chain in the Southeast, Stoner's Pizza. I was like, what? Stoner's Pizza. And he was like,
that's my kind of place, dude.
And I found this article that was like a basic generic interview that just is like for your business life. So you can go there and it'll like, what's the 3 most challenging things you faced? And it was like, consistency with our product. Customers are upset about a pizza if it's not high. I'm like, what are these fucking multimillionaires doing with this pizza chain? And he also mentioned how he's like, one of his things is like, I'm an avid golfer and I love my family and I'm a funder of small businesses over the last 20 years, businesses that need like branding and capital and strategy. And I was like, I was going to be fucking one of those
You
guys.
were going to be that business.
But my dad told me at the time, he said a lot of rich people will open businesses because if they fail, it's a tax write-off. So you can dump all that money through. So I'm thinking, okay.
He's like, you wouldn't have given a shit if you failed or succeeded.
Yeah, it's win-win for everybody.
They're just scheming the system. It's great.
Crazy.
That's good people.
Yeah. This is
Good
my kind
people.
of people, dude.
I enjoy it.
And what's crazy is like she called me after they moved and was like, my dogs are doing awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then like we texted again and she called me again. And like as I'm reading this stuff, if I just stumbled upon this legal case, I'd be like, oh, these people. And like instead I'm the dog walker who's like, hey,
it's my favorite
Miami?
clients.
Yeah, how's Miami? And
like, we really miss you.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. So that's
What if they offered to move you down to Miami since they couldn't find the?
Hey, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. So
That's hilarious.
Interesting, right?
That is interesting.
So maybe it's good it didn't work out. Who knows how the future?
Probably so from
went.
the sounds of that.
So, all right. Speaking of legal cases, Trump and his team got subpoenaed for their claims about the 2020 election. Rudy Giuliani.
They did in Georgia.
In addition to Giuliani,
grand jury. Yep.
Yeah, the people summoned include John Eastman, Cletta Mitchell, Kenneth Cheesebro, and Jenna Ellis, who advised the Trump campaign on strategies for overturning Democrat Joe Biden's wins in Georgia and other swing states. So this is getting interesting.
Yeah, they subpoenaed them, but all the people involved are basically Trump's attorneys, from what I understand. It's going to be difficult to get them to actually, testify, because they can claim attorney-client privilege.
Yeah,
if I'm understanding correctly.
Yeah, that's what I gathered. 23 people, the 23-person special grand jury has heard testimony in recent weeks from a parade of witnesses, including some who had direct contact with Trump and his associates in late 2020 and early 2021. But today, the Tuesday subpoenas are the closest jurors have gotten. So this is like really inching forward. Here's the actual document of Rudolph. Rudolph is his name. Giuliani.
Go ahead.
I was just reading that certificate of material witness pursuant to Uniform Act to secure the attendance of witness from without the state. For the people listening, I'm reading the title of the actual legal document. So this is an interesting chunk I took note of. Definitely wanted to read. Giuliani testified before Georgia legislators in 2020, showing edited surveillance video of ballots being tabulated at Atlanta's State Farm Arena. The former New York City mayor said the tape was a powerful smoking gun of election workers pulling out suitcases of ballots to count after sending Republican poll watchers home.
They say it was quickly debunked, though, and Giuliani continued to run with it.
Yeah.
So I didn't click on the click through in this article where it was quickly debunked. Did you?
No.
I'm gonna do that while you read from the article some more, and I'll tell you how and why it was quickly debunked.
Okay. He was later suspended from practicing law in New York, in part because of his testimony in Georgia. They suspended that fool. Eastman, a former law professor, was a key architect of the plan to press Vice President Mike Pence to reject the official Democratic electors in Georgia and other swing states and opt for an alternative slate of GOP electors. So I'm confused with that, but it appears they wanted Mike Pence to push for some different players in the game. A federal judge in March argued that it is more likely than not that President Trump and Eastman dishonestly conspired to obstruct the joint session of Congress on January 6, 2021. Oh, so is that what that was about? GOP electors? because they had a phone call. There was an important phone call that happened. January 2nd, 2021.
Yeah, the phone call was to, what was his name? Starts with an R.
Raffensperger. So then January 2nd was that phone call, and the 6th
Trump's
was
basically find me 11,000 whatever votes.
Yeah.
Which that's
11,780.
That's a fucking shady thing to say, right? What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, what's up with all that stuff happening about the Secret Service and him in the truck and him hitting the guy on the shoulder? I mean, those the left really went conspiracy wild on those videos. Do you remember all that stuff trending?
Yes.
His hand hit his shoulder and he was in the back seat. That must have been when he told them. And if he told them and they didn't go, that means they didn't want to do it because it was wrong. And he's wrong. So crazy.
Look, man, the January 6th commission. Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but I don't give a fuck about January 6th. I don't see what the problem was because the cops weren't killed by protesters from what we looked into. They killed themselves later. I saw some people on Twitter saying, I saw an article talking about, it was something about how the cops were like brutalized. I think it was in one of these articles I was reading. So like, I'm confused about it, but like, I'm just being honest, man. From what I've seen, like, what's the big fucking deal? Like, who died compared to, what's the big deal?
I think they're making a bigger deal out of it than it is. Like, they're dragging it out. Now, it was definitely an insane moment in history.
It was.
Nothing like that had ever happened in the past. So, definitely noteworthy day. Should we be dedicating, months of time to investigating it? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a political science major, nor do I claim to be an expert on our political system. I'm just a normal citizen here, but feel like they could be spending their time doing other things like focusing on the economy and inflation, fixing the fucking gas price issue that we have, shit that really, really affects the everyday American. But whatever, I don't want to go on a tangent about that.
And I don't want to say, I don't want to.
Do I think Trump was right in like this scenario in Georgia with them basically asking them to find whatever way you can to say the result was invalid? No, I think that was also a power play and bullshit as well. Once again, these fucking rich people just focusing on obtaining more power for themselves. So I think it's all shit, dude. I think this. Yeah. Anyway,
I hear a lot of people that are like viscerally disgusted at what happened, and I feel like I should feel like that, but I don't. I don't give a shit because what all the protests that happen all the time. I'm not devaluing the people that did die on January 6th. It was like one person, and then the four cops that killed themselves later. They weren't killed there by protesters; they killed themselves later. But I think a Black Lives Matter protest too, and I'm not devaluing the cause. I'm just saying. I mean, people got brutalized.
Yes,
minorities, businesses destroyed. Like people brutalized by police for just standing on their porch. I saw videos of little like petite girls getting fucking like body slammed, and there was so much brutality back and forth, and all of that was. This is where I'm getting. All of that has been talked about as peaceful protests. And then this January 6th thing where hardly anything happened is the media can't let it go 6 months later. And everybody is viscerally upset as if I don't know what I'm missing here. Why does anyone give a fuck?
There's an obvious media slant, right? I mean, we know why.
Am I wrong? That's my question.
No, you're not wrong.
I'm being honest. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just being honest. I don't give a fuck. And should I give a fuck? Is it this thing?
I mean, I
give a fuck can't either. Believe it. January. I hear reliable people on like podcasts that talk about it, and they're smart people, and they talk about it, and they're like, "This fucking pieces of shit. That was fucking disgusting." And I'm like, I don't understand why I'm not getting it. I should feel like this. It's crazy.
Well, I get the sentiment behind it. I I don't feel that kind of outrage towards it, right?
That's a good outrage.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
I
a
don't
dumb
feel that
thing.
outrage towards it personally. Do I understand why people are saying they feel outraged? Sure. Do I think they're just kind of playing it up a bit? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, the guy with the horns on his helmet should make everybody immediately not give a shit. Like, this is the dumbest thing. Months later, we're still on it, you know?
Did they ever? I haven't been keeping up with the investigation. Proof that I don't give a shit. I haven't been keeping up with the investigation, but I know one of the questions that were being asked was that person they suspect was a plant, an FBI plant or a cop that was like encouraging them to go in the into the Capitol.
Yeah, and
they were asking about that during the investigation. Did we ever get any type of results from that or not? Not really. Did we ever get any answers as to who that individual was?
That was all
why
slandered
they were acting that way.
That was all right-wing conspiracy stuff that just disappeared. And that's part of this whole conundrum.
They had a senator asking about it in the actual official investigation.
Yeah, I think you're right. And this whole conundrum in my mind is like, that is such an obvious big part of the story. And then the people that are disgusted at what happened never bring up the FBI plan. Like, bring up that part. What do you know about that? Because that's definitely a thing. Agent provocateurs. I mean, this is like such a 10, I don't know how to describe it. It's just such an obvious, basic version of agent provocateur at work. FBI letting people, like, how did those fucking people get in Congress and sit on the seats if they weren't let in by FBI, and people just, it seems so obvious, man.
Could definitely easily be an agent provocateur play for sure.
They're still upset at Republicans, but it's like, what about the FBI agent?
I think the fucking Republicans are ridiculous for encouraging the whole thing to go down that day. I think the Democrats are ridiculous for like acting like it was the worst thing since the Civil War.
Yeah, shit like that. I don't get.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, this is like
both sides are so fucking stupid with it all.
Did Nancy Pelosi compare it to 9/11? Somebody compared it to 9/11 at one point. It was like a Elizabeth Warren-esque.
It was like, this is just about not. It's like, okay. It's
like, dude, what?
Stop.
She needs some milk. There was one more part of this that really raised a question, and it must be here. The special grand jury has permission to meet until May 2023. Who was it? It was Fannie Willis launched the criminal probe. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis launched the criminal probe into Georgia's elections in February 2021. So she's the actual launcher of the probe. Weeks after the recording of the Trump-Raffensperger phone call leaked. She's since expanded the investigation to include the fake GOP electors, Giuliani's testimony to state legislators, and other efforts to pressure Georgia officials to act in Trump's favor. The special grand jury has permission to meet until May, though Willis says she's expecting the group's work to wrap up long before. Jurors are expected to draft a report at the end of their service recommending whether Willis should press charges against Trump or his allies, though the final decision ultimately rests with the DA, a Democrat elected in 2020. So I thought she was on their side because she launched the criminal probe into Georgia's elections. Oh, no, she's not for their side.
Wait, no, what? This is against Trump and his allies. It's a criminal investigation on Trump and his allies.
Gotcha.
Because of what prompted it was that phone call to Raffensperger, where Trump was said, "You better find me fucking 11,780 votes."
Yeah,
which you can't do. You can't call for election fraud. If you lost by 11,780, well, you lost, man.
Well, you get into all the ballot harvesting and this and that gets actually kind of confusing when I read about that. And I don't know if I trust any of it because everyone has their own little hole that you can exploit. And it's like one party favoring one is just you can exploit this one as much as you can.
Yeah, you don't cheat to fix cheating. I don't know.
And yeah, so
I mean that ties into that ties into the Wisconsin article from July 8th with the Supreme Court disallowing absentee ballot drop boxes.
Yeah. Conservative controlled Supreme Court ruled Friday that absentee ballot drop boxes may be placed only in election offices and that no other than the voter can return a ballot in person, dealing a defeat to Democrats who said the decision would make it harder to vote in the battleground state. So basically, being able to lump votes together and have one person bring them is what allows everyone to vote. If everybody has to bring their own vote, they're saying people can't do that?
This particular ruling is based around where drop boxes can be located for absentee ballots. It has to be in an election office. In other words, somewhere where it's supervised, where the drop-offs are supervised, basically.
It says that no one other than the voter can return a ballot in person.
Correct.
So that deals a defeat to Democrats because they like to be able to drop it in mass because they like ballot harvesting, right?
Right. Now, by mail, that is still possible in Wisconsin. So the court didn't address whether anyone other than the voter can return his or her own ballot by mail.
Dude.
Which means that anyone could still collect multiple ballots for voters, and instead of using a drop box, just put them in the mail. And that's what they call ballot harvesting.
Democrats and others argue that many voters, particularly the elderly and disabled, have difficulty returning their ballots without the assistance of others.
And that's fair. I mean, that's a good point. So what do you do about that?
Fucking learn to code and vote online.
Learn to code, vote. Teach your elderly and disabled to learn to code if they want to vote.
Yeah, like it's not hard. Isn't that weird how mailboxes still exist? We got Starlink. Mailboxes still exist.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things out there that are kind of the little flag. People like, it doesn't matter how rich and nice a neighborhood is. You still have a mailbox with a fucking flag you got to stick up. It's like, when are we going to get past that? I love, what are some other like archaic things we have that aren't going to go away anytime soon?
Pens, pencils.
I mean, like a public utility. It makes you feel like a child when you have to participate. Public utility. Yeah, like, all right, everybody on the green line. If you're here for a photo ID, get on the blue line. It's like it's 2022 and we're still all color coordinating our priorities in public. Like, well, I got over here on the green. No, on the yellow. Oh, okay. I got to go over here on the yellow. It's like a room full of adults color coordinating. There's just some things out there that humans just can't get past.
I guess so.
Anyway.
Anyway.
29 other states allow for absentee ballot drop boxes. Supporters argue drop boxes are a better option than mailing ballots because they go directly to the clerks and can't be lost or delayed in transit. Fair.
Another fair point.
Yes. Johnson and other Republicans hailed it as a win for voter integrity. So the Republicans like this move. This decision is a big step in the right direction, Johnson said. It's a slap in the face of democracy itself, said
the Democratic Party Chairman Ben Wickler. I just love the fucking super contrasting differences in the opinion of the decision.
Hey, and look, here's one thing I haven't heard anybody address on video, like the video that Rudy Giuliani put in there, said he fucking had evidence. I saw a lot of videos of some weird stuff happening at these ballot boxes. I mean, is that fake videos? I'm sure you saw them too. Vans pulling up late at night and bringing paces into these little voter offices. I mean, what happened to all that? That's weird, right?
I don't know. All I know is that was supposedly all debunked. So
weird.
I've not looked into it enough to give an informed opinion on it, so I don't know.
And then, like, after midnight, there was a huge bump in Biden's votes. I mean, how would I confirm something like that?
Well, that was because they do count the mail-in ballots later than they count the actual in-person ballots. So,
right.
Yeah, well, it makes sense that whatever party would use mail-in ballots primarily, which would be the Democratic Party, that would come in later. So, yeah, that makes sense to me why that would be the case.
Yeah. The court's 4-3 ruling has critical implications in the 2024 presidential race, in which Wisconsin will again be among a handful of battleground states. Dude, that's going to be an interesting election. I'm looking forward to it like Nate Diaz, Connor 3. You know, I'm waiting. I'm making plans. President Joe Biden defeated Trump in 2020 by 21,000 votes. Fucking why did I read that? 40% of voters cast mail ballots, a record high in 2020. At least 500 drop boxes were set up in 430 communities. That's a lot. Not as much as I would have thought.
That's in Wisconsin.
Okay, so after Trump lost the state, he and Republicans alleged that drop boxes facilitate cheating, even though they offered no evidence. So that's where it all starts right there. The Republicans said that drop boxes facilitate cheating. Meanwhile, they kind of all do.
Whereas the argument from the Democrats is that we're not allowing everyone who can vote to vote by taking some of these things away because the elderly and disabled can't get to the ballot boxes to cast their vote. So we need to provide every way possible for them to cast it.
So what the fuck's gonna happen? What do you think's gonna happen in the next election?
What's the right call? What's the right call? I don't know.
Man, the right call, it's fucking voting, dude. People need to be able to show up and do it.
Fair enough. Then
we got to go and do the ID, and we go to the DMV and we stand in line, and they're like, oh, well, you need, your birth certificate, and you have to have the original document. We can't take a photocopy. And then you got to leave and make another appointment. It's all this shit just to get a license plate for your car. And then you vote for the goddamn president. And they just want to be able to just drop an envelope off, give an envelope to a buddy who's going to drop it off for you. Why can't I do that to get a license plate? So it doesn't seem consistent to me. And I don't feel like it's too much to ask to just come up with one way and everybody's got to vote. And if they don't want to do that to vote, then fuck you. You know?
Fair enough. I mean, what if you're disabled though? What if you physically can't get down there?
Okay, but that doesn't mean
are you just not allowed to?
It's like, if you're disabled, you have the handicap parking spot, right? There's a certain way for you to do it, and everybody else doesn't take that spot.
Yeah, but I'm talking about to the point where you can't drive, or you don't. There's no.
Well, what I mean
to
is
the handicap parking spot. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be exceptions to that.
They simply come up with exceptions for handicapped people, and not everybody gets to use those exceptions. So if you drop it in the mail and you're not handicapped, your vote doesn't count. You know what I'm saying?
You need some type of identification to identify your handicap.
Yeah. And if you're handicapped, you can
qualify you for mail-in voting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that simple, right? Like if you're handicapped, your vote will count because they'll Social Security number gets ran and then it dings in the system. Not handicapped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way, right? There's a way, right?
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah. I'm sure there's a way to get your handicap placard. So I'm sure there's a way to identify you as being disabled.
Yeah.
Well, what about just elderly? There's no way to delineate that because, well, I guess so. Yeah. I
mean, IHOP has a system. If you're over 65, you get 10% off. If you're over 65, you can mail in your ballot. So that's if I'm 33.
It's a lot of voting. That's a large voting pool.
Well, I mean, it's voting, so let's figure it out. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I agree with you. I think you should get. I think you should get your ass to the fucking ballot box and show your ID and vote that way. But
yeah, you're gonna act like you're all awake and politically conscious, and you got to have your buddy drop off your ballot. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
you gotta fucking enough. Drop it off while I'm shopping at JC. I gotta drop off my vote. Fucking go vote. Go vote. You make appointments to get your pussy waxed And dudes make appointments to go get like their beards trimmed.
Right.
Fucking, you know.
Get your ass to the ballot box.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing against females that vote and get their pussies waxed. I'm just saying. And dudes too, you know. We do stuff that fucking, if we can do that, then, you know, we go golfing for 6 goddamn hours and we book a tea time. We can go, you know. Fair point, right?
Fair point.
So, yeah. So you want to start a new session and run through these next 2?
Yeah.
These next 2 are actually pretty short, so it should be easy. You got enough time?
Yeah. I'm going to make enough time.
All right.
For the quality of the podcast.
I'm going to send you an invite link right away. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we'll have to figure that Zoom thing out. It really kills the vibe.
Yeah, it sucks, man. 45-minute one. I don't know why they changed that.
To make money.
Definitely.
But you know what else got killed by something very inconvenient? It's the former Japanese prime minister, Shinzo Abe. Dude, he had an economic plan called Abenomics. You read that in that article, right?
Uh-huh.
Dude, that's like Obamacare. Yo. Ooh. Thank you.
Or it's more like Reaganomics, actually.
Right.
So, yeah, did you know anything about this Shinzo character?
No.
Just was an interesting headline.
You saw he died from a homemade gun?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Dude.
Because Japan has some of the strictest gun control laws in the world. And they have like a dozen gun deaths per year.
Maybe.
Which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to know if this guy was, you know, what's this guy's corruption? Every time somebody's assassinated, you know, what's going on?
So from what I've heard about him, like he was kind of a nationalist type of leader when he was in power. He made some controversial calls, you know, in his strong stance against like China in certain areas, like his hardline stance on if China invaded Taiwan, basically asking the U.S. to make a hard call on what would happen if they did that. Yeah, he was a controversial figure, but I think he was a beloved figure as well. He was also a good friend of Trump, ironically. Or Trump called him a good friend.
Okay. See, they don't talk about that. They just talk about how Trump called it the China virus. They didn't say how this guy liked Trump. I'm just
What? That's a different country, bro.
It's Japanese.
Jesus Christ. I was so confused. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. Abe was pronounced dead at the age of 67 in Nara, Japan, where he was shot at a speech at 11 a.m. He died at 5:03. So he lived kind of a long time for getting shot by a homemade shotgun twice, right? What a soldier.
Yeah, it's a bad motherfucker right there.
Wounds to his neck, damage to his heart, and internal bleeding, according to the doctor who treated him, including a surgery and a blood transfusion, which failed. So did you watch the video of the shooting? I haven't watched these.
No, I don't like seeing shit like that, but we can watch it. Yeah.
Is the audio playing?
No.
All right. Well, fuck.
Share audio with screen sharing.
Yeah, I have to find the menu whenever I'm screen sharing because they move it. So there we go. Got it. Okay. Can you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Prime Minister Abe was giving this speech for the upcoming upper house election, and we can see these smokes.
Did it freeze for you?
No, what they do is they're not going to show him actually getting killed.
Right. So he was giving a
Actually
speech.
getting shot.
and
They
boom.
make it skip to
Yeah.
past where he's on the ground. They're not going to show you the shot. I figured they wouldn't.
Yeah. Damn.
Damn indeed.
Yeah. You think it was just some rogue dude, or do you think it was?
Well, they have a suspect of who it is, and they talk about it in this article. And they didn't talk. They said they wouldn't discuss motives at this time, but this individual apparently said he was unhappy with Abe. I guess whenever he was running the country, was unhappy with some type of policy or position that Abe held. So yeah,
Tetsuya Yamagami, a
now
area man in his 40s.
and he served on like the maritime defense.
Oh, dude, that's interesting, man, because this makes me think of MK Ultra mind control stuff, because where do they scout perfect, susceptible candidates who will act on violence to achieve a motive of an intelligence agency? MK Ultra style. So maybe this guy showed signs of like psychopathy, schizophrenia, and they were doing things to drive him to this point. And that's a generalization.
Now,
it sounds
possibly.
stupid, but
Now, why would they? Now, here's the other thing: is like, why would Abe be targeted?
because he would be susceptible. Oh, why would Abe be targeted? Right. Yeah,
Right.
Abe, not Tetsuya.
So,
Because he was a good guy, dude. He liked Trump.
well, here's the conspiracy spin on it that we could probably look
Okay.
into.
That was a joke.
No, I get it. We could. What was this? How did he feel about this whole ESG position and the whole Great Reset with the World Economic Forum?
ESG. What do you mean by that?
Like this new, that's the new environmental standard.
Oh, right.
That's the whole reason why the Dutch are revolting right now. In the Netherlands.
Yeah. Hey, I got an email from some company I bought something from, and they said they're adding a price to the shipping fee that is a carbon and emissions fee.
That type of shit. Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, they're rolling it out. And this is another thing I predicted when Biden got in president. I said they're going to start taxing us for using gas, and it's not going to fix the problem because people are just going to pay the tax. And they're not going to talk about how the Pentagon is the biggest contributor to global warming as far as pollution. And the next in line is the top 130 corporations around the world. There's science that shows how much the earth processes carbon dioxide. You look at plants, they thrive on carbon dioxide. It's right there in front of our face. The more plants we have, and ocean water filters even more. And the amount that humans put out compared to what the earth is capable of processing, it's minimal. It doesn't even touch it. And that's like a scientific study about, the earth and CO2. And then there's studies about pumping CO2 into a greenhouse of plants, and they got like 30 to 40% more on their crop in the same time, because plants like carbon dioxide. But this whole narrative, like it's people burning gas and the earth can't handle it, dude, that's not the science. The earth has no problem processing the carbon dioxide we put out daily. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the ESG stuff, the carbon tax, it's all happening. And it's starting with corporations, just like COVID did. It all went through corporations. They set the standard, the people followed, and it was influenced by government talk. Same thing here. It's in the private market. FedEx and UPS and Sprouts and Chewy.com. They're all going to start adding an Amazon. Like, hey, if you're a Prime member, you don't have to pay the carbon emissions. And they're just like, they jacked up Prime, so you are paying the carbon emissions. It's just going to Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, this whole world's going to happen. So anyway, yeah.
It's all a play to get control of the people, Dylan.
So do you think he does have some pushback about ESG?
I don't know. It was a question. Like, the initial question was, why would he be targeted by some MK
Yeah.
Ultra style hit? Or was this just some rogue character who was unhappy with a policy? Yeah, it was crazy person that killed him.
See, it lines up because he became prime minister of Japan in 2012 and served until 2020, finishing out as the longest serving prime minister in Japan's history. He cited poor health as a reason for his resignation. Which is fine, but in 2020, peak pandemic, if you want to be conspiratorial, I think there's something to look into there. Because, his health obviously wasn't that bad if he's still giving speeches and pushing an agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Well,
I just figured it out. I think you're right. I think they whacked this fool. I think they MK Ultra'd some guy that they scouted out of the Japanese army who they knew was psycho. Sleep deprivation, isolation, the stuff with Havana syndrome. I'm fascinated that makes it into mainstream news and no one's talking about it. CIA weapons and mind control and no one's talking about it. Not mind control, but causing. So that's what I'm saying. They're about to have weapons they're aiming at this guy, frequencies, and making him crazy, not letting him sleep. A susceptible mind. There's ways to. The CIA proved, like in MK Ultra, that you can create new memories and erase old ones in minds of people that have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder.
Yeah, people that are
you can create a new
barely
world
holding on to reality.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. And if you know how to manipulate a mind, if you just dissolve your ego, you can be manipulated. I think I'm a smart guy. I didn't know the whole time my best clients fucking fraudsters. It happens right there. You don't even know. It happens. It's just the mind. You can be tricked.
Yeah.
So
now, I think my theory fell short, though. So I just put up a secondary article on it, and I obviously didn't read through it. I just skimmed it, and one of the things it says is that he was a WEF darling, and then at the end he was no, he wasn't assassinated. He was just another globalist gopher. It's okay, well, maybe he was on their team. Maybe that's why he got killed by some patriot fighting against the WEF. I don't know. Well, see, I didn't know enough about Japanese politics or Abe Shinzo to even guess why he was killed, to be honest with you.
I think his support for Taiwan might have something to do with it too.
I thought that was interesting, yeah. But what I do know about is that Joe Biden is losing his fucking mind.
Oh,
dementia.
Right. It may be time to invoke the 25th Amendment. Dude. The straw that broke the camel's back was when he recently said, end of line, repeat line. When he read that part of the teleprompter.
Okay, whatever. He misread the teleprompter, but the White House's overextension to try and cover it up was even almost more bizarre than him, having one of his usual fuck ups. We've just come to expect that. But them trying to cover it up, to me, that was just insanity. I
don't know how anybody doesn't see it. All the people who
you can watch it with your own eyes. But I bet if you brought that to one of your buddies,
yeah, maybe
he would be like, oh well, it was obvious what he meant to say. He meant to say that.
Yeah. He reads teleprompters all the time.
You never tripped when you're talking before.
Yeah, you're president of the world. You're probably thinking about a lot of stuff.
Oh my god. No, so I think what's really interesting is that you have individuals at the New York Times that are now writing articles that are basically questioning his ability to finish the job.
Yeah, you're 2.5 years late, you fucks. Can we get an apology? It's crazy.
Well, you have people on his own side now that are actually calling out these issues.
And that's the fascinating part is because
they're probably getting ready to back the bus up over him now because his approval rating and that had just come out. It was like 30 something percent.
Imagine
like
if
the worst in presidential history ever. So they might just be like, you know what? Maybe we could say the whole time that, you know what? He just didn't have the mental capacity to finish it out.
Dude, you know,
and we need someone else.
Is the most votes in presidential history and the lowest approval rating 2 years later. And he's breaking records, dude.
Breaking all kind of records, dude.
Breaking freaking records. Yeah, so whenever the elections were happening, you could argue the stuff that they argued, I guess, like speech impediment, or he just loves kids, like all these things. But now you can't. And that's what's fascinating to me is it speaks for itself. It's like you just got to sit back and just, I can't really word things well right now, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's just so obvious. It's kind of rewarding.
That you can almost say, I told you so.
Yeah, you don't even have to say it because there's no way they don't see it now. There's no way they're not looking at headlines of their favorite president.
They were gaslighting us the whole time.
Yeah, dude, like checking out what's going on with Biden. Like, nah, he's fucking high gas prices is a good economy. Fucking, oh shit, did he do that?
Did you see him land in? Did you see him land in Israel?
No.
Oh, God, he gets off a plane. He looks confused as fuck. He says, "What am I doing again?"
Oh wow!
What the fuck? He's just lost. The dude is lost. It's sad. It's sad, really. It really is sad. But the problem is, he's the fucking leader of the most powerful country in the world. Like, sorry, you just can't. Look, it's okay to be old and not be the sharpest tool in the shed anymore, but you cannot have keys to the spaceship and be driving it. If that's the case, like you are in the most powerful country in the world, like you can't. Oh man, if you can't form sentences clearly anymore, it's time to call it quits.
Yeah,
if you lose track of what room you're in, dude, forget what you're doing there. It's probably time to call it quits. Like you don't have the mental capacity to juggle finance and global politics and inflation and dude, you just can't do all of that while still struggling to remember what your name is.
He struggles to remember his name, or is that hyperbole?
It's hyperbole, but okay. I imagine he probably does. He probably forgets who he is some days. Poor guy's old as shit, man.
Do you see this thing I'm screen sharing?
Yeah, the bike ride. Is
that his wife right here?
No, that's Elizabeth Warren, right? No, or is that his wife? I can't tell.
Dude, look at her helmet.
Yeah, it's all crooked.
And she's going off the path. Oh, I love that. Okay. Fuck, dude.
So there was an article that came out in the New York Times and it actually had, I guess, details from White House staffers that talk about how, you know, they hold their breath that he makes it to the end of a speech without a gaffe.
No way, dude.
That he often shuffles when he walks, which makes him worried about if he's going to trip on wires.
Did you see that speech the other day? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Imagine he tripped. Tony Ferguson tripped on a wire and blew out his ACL.
And he's a super athlete.
Yeah, he's a super athlete. But there was a speech the other day by a Democratic lady, and she compared the Mexicans to tacos.
That was Joe Biden's wife, Jill Biden.
Jill. Yeah, and that's another fine example because the media would have ran with that if it would have been a right-wing person.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And then if you're on the left, you could argue, well, it wasn't even that big of a deal. That's why the media didn't run with it. It's like, dude, there's stuff Trump said that wasn't even what the media said he said, that they ran with. Like the thing about Mexicans being animals. He was talking about like the cartel. Like the cartel, like the guys who come over and rape and murder people at the border and shit like that. But they spliced it. And that's not even what he said. And that's still like the cornerstone of why everybody is outraged at how racist Trump is. Was a clipped, edited, not even what he said clip. And then she actually says this.
But it's
And-
fine.
Yeah.
But it's not fine, because like if you look at his fucking approval ratings, like the media can say what they want and like
33
and pretend none of this is happening, but the American public is no longer buying the bullshit. And the Democratic Party is in real trouble right now. Or maybe not. I don't know, because they also had a poll that came out that still, even with that low approval rating, they had a poll that came out recently that still showed him beating Trump in a general election. And there are some strong indications that Trump is planning on running again, which I think if we end up with another Trump Biden on the ballot, Jesus Christ, that's like a horrible scenario, I think, for the country.
Well, I guess we can wrap it up with this. And Jimmy Dore spoke recently on his podcast, and it reminded me what you said, because I don't think it'll be Biden. And the reason we got Trump was because Hillary propped up Trump because they thought they could run against him. He'd be a good candidate. And they sucked so bad, they couldn't beat the guy they thought they had the best chance of beating. So they, in a way, propped him up. And they propped up another crazy right winger recently, the Democrats, for like the midterm speech or something like this. I get confused with all this shit. But whoever the guy they propped up with, that they propped up as like the Democratic candidate, the midterm, they're trying to put that guy out there. I should know his name. But he was working like for Trump's campaign and is like pro life and super.
I know who you're talking about.
And they're propping him up to run.
He's
probably
saying crazy shit.
Yeah. And it's like all that money the Democrats got went to this guy's campaign, who's a right winger, and all the left. So they're all just Republicans. They're all the same. So is it going to be Biden, Trump? No, but it's going to be a similar situation where the Democrats, for whatever reason, prop up the wrong person, and it's their fault. We're left with Trump because they suck that fucking bad. Not saying I'm going to vote for Trump, but like, I think it'll just be the same thing as the first time. Not the second time. I think it'll be Trump versus a really fucking shitty candidate. Like even shittier
than Biden.
I think it's going to.
How do you get shittier? Maybe Kamala.
Shittier because for the Democrats, because if they're propping up this right wing guy as a Democrat and everyone's eating it up.
Well, the reason they prop up these, what they consider these, I would think that the reason they prop up these crazy right wing people is because they think they could easily beat them,
and they can't because they suck. That's why we got Trump.
Generally speaking, a moderate would usually beat out these extremists in elections. But yeah, you're right. I guess they suck so bad.
They're so bad. They're so corrupt. They couldn't beat Trump the first time. And the media, did so much damage.
So what I'm saying is, like, if Trump and Biden end up on the ballot again, you think that Trump's going to take that election, or you think Biden's going to pull it through? Because according to the poll,
I think that I don't know.
Biden still comes out.
I don't know how anybody votes for Biden. I don't know how anybody votes for Trump, but I think that
they don't vote for Biden; they vote against Trump.
Yeah. But how? But now that
if you have a DeSantis or one of these other cats that get on the bill of Biden, I think it's a different story. I think Trump is so fucking polarizing that, like, to convince a hardcore Democrat to vote for Trump because they disapprove of Biden, that's a tall order. But you can maybe get a hardcore Democrat that is so disgusted with Biden to vote for a different, more moderate Republican. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is, now that we know how Biden is as president, I don't know if that same dynamic is going to play as much of a factor. And I think it might dismantle the system, because those who voted against Trump the first time are going to be really reluctant, based on history and facts, to vote for this guy now. And they might even think twice about voting against Trump. They might even think, hey, I'm voting against Trump for this other candidate, but like, is he going to be shitty like Biden too? So I got to really think about how I'm voting. Something else is going to start happening. and I can't predict it, but listen to this. After Biden, I think there's going to be even more people that vote for Trump that didn't the first time. I think there's going to be a lot more people that still would vote for Trump and will vote against Biden. I think there's a lot of people who would rather Trump as the lesser evil at this point. Not saying that's right or wrong, but I think it's gonna. I think it could like go back the other way. Because in all of Biden's losing, Trump has kind of been winning, not to the public, but to his previous voters and people that are still in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess.
That's just my theory. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's going to be chaos.
I think we need a third party.
Yeah, vote third party. It's that simple. Because when you go to the voting booth, all the other candidates are still there. And if people just vote for one of them, what's the system going to do if everybody votes third party?
Yeah, you do not have to vote for whoever they're dumping the most money into.
Yeah, so I'm going to make bumper stickers for us when it comes to the elections. Dr. Rogan for president and vote third party. So we're going to get those made. After I get back from tour, I got some stuff I want to make it once I get my paper back up. Once I get my weight back up.
Get your weight back up.
Yeah.
Man, well, good luck on tour, bro. Where's the first stop?
Tulsa on Saturday, but we're leaving tomorrow and we're playing golf in Kansas. And
Nice.
then we're
got a little off day to start it off.
Yeah, and then we're off Sunday. We're going to play golf again in Tulsa and then drive to San Antonio. We got 2 shows there, Monday and Tuesday. And then we'll be in Louisiana Wednesday to Friday, no show. Saturday, Lafayette. Hopefully you can make it.
Yeah, I'm going to try, man. Hopefully I'm back in time.
I mean, you should be, right? We start at like 10.
Yeah, but if I'm just driving in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best too, bro.
Hope you can make it.
Y'all be careful on the road, man.
Yep, and I got
don't drive with any illegal materials.
Okay. Yeah. And I got service dog vests for my chihuahuas because I didn't know what to do with them when we play golf. But now I know what I can do with them.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah. Dude, they sent me a pack.
Is Ford coming with you?
No. They sent me a stack this thick of papers that give me my legal outline of what I can do. Like if anybody questions me, I just give them this thing and it says you can't ask them for documentation. You can't ask for proof of service dog this. You can't ask the owner to make the dog perform tasks that would warrant it being here. You just have to allow it here. So if anybody questions me,
do you have to bring like little poop bags with you on the golf course?
Oh, of course. And I bring that anyway.
I was like, don't be a dick.
And I saw a dog on the golf course the other day. Some guy brought it off leash. Nice golf course. It's like, all right.
Whatever. Fuck it. Yeah.
Yeah. Little chihuahuas. This would be awesome. So, all right, man. Good podcast. When this episode comes out, I will be on tour.
See Alfred and the Detonators on tour.
Yeah. So if you're in Tulsa, if you're in San Antonio, if you're in Lafayette, hit us up. Or if you're in like Salina, Kansas tomorrow, come play golf. I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well,
man, good luck. Y'all have fun.
Dude.
Be safe.
Gonna have fun.
I'll see you in Louisiana.
Thanks, man. See ya. Peace.
All right. Later, bro.